The island of Mallorca is hands down one of the most beautiful islands in all of the Mediterranean. But as it turns out, we're not the only ones that know about it.
We are so much more cautious than a lot of these charter boats.
With a coastline short on anchorages with really good protection and hordes of sailboats filling every nook and cranny, Mallorca can be both unbelievably jaw-dropping and utterly frustrating.
This guy rolled in and dropped the hook right freaking next to us.
Now, we are currently underway from Cartagena, Spain to Mallorca, which should take us about 2 days. But this isn't our first time visiting this bipolar island. 10 years ago, Desiree and I met while working on super yachts, and Mallorca is where we first fell in love.
I've sort of felt like this area isn't the most beautiful place from a natural standpoint because it's real deserty and real dry. But man, at sunset, sailing along these cliffs, this is really freaking pretty, man. The desert is a beautiful place, but you just need the right lighting and the right temperature and the right amount of breeze. But you get all those things together, man, and it's beautiful. Well, the sun's starting to set and it's time for Desiree to go on her off watch. And we don't really need to put the pole up right now, but I think we'll probably need it at some point tonight. So we're just gonna get it up and have it on standby and ready for if we do need it. All right, man, this is perfect. This is what I dream of when I think of good sailing. Got 12.5 knots just behind the beam. Got this beautiful sunset, got the red sky at night, sailor's delight. And I'm really enjoying sailing in the Mediterranean because since there is land masses really close to you at all times, it seems like the fetch isn't that big, and so the waves don't get that big compared to if you're out in the middle of the Atlantic, you know? Now I know that the Mediterranean can get nasty. I'm just living the dream right now. Because sometimes sailing looks fun on the outside, but it's hard for whatever reason. It's uncomfortable. You're seasick. The motion is extreme. But right now it's just one of those moments where everything's lining up. I'm gonna try and soak it up as much as I can. Well, it's been an interesting day. The wind has been shifting, the wind strength has been going up and down all day, so that I'll get the sails set up and then the wind dies, and then the wind comes back, I get the sails out, and then it shifts and I have to jibe and get everything across the other side of the boat. The pole is really a great tool for downwind sailing, but it's a lot of effort to set up, and then you're kind of stuck in that mode, so that if you want to get out of downwind sailing mode, then it's a lot of effort to get out of that mode. Yeah, it's interesting watching the sunset over Ibiza from Atticus too, because I was here last over 10 years ago when I was working on yachts, actually before I even met Desiree. This island held a really kind of special place in my own story. There was a lot of partying going on there. I was working really hard. We were on charter, so I had almost no free time. And what little free time I had, I was going out to the bars and clubs with my friends in this exotic place, you know, one of the party capitals of the world. And that's what I was all about. It's funny now that I'm seeing Ibiza again in a totally different stage of my life. Like, I can't even really believe that that was me in a lot of ways. Now, all of my priorities and everything I care about is Desiree, the baby that we've got on the way, making these videos and trying to make them as good as possible, and trying to travel and see as much of the world as possible. Like, all these things that I find to be really meaningful, that involve a lot of hard work, that involve a lot of challenges, right? That's what I care about. But when I was on that island last, I was just this reckless young dude, you know? And it's just nuts that I'm the same person. It's hard to believe that, you know?
So I've been loving my Kamikoto knife set, and recently I splurged and got this Santoku knife from Kamikoto, and it is seriously my favorite knife ever. It's a multi-purpose knife designed for just about anything, so I can cut vegetables, meat, and fish with just one knife. Oh my gosh, it's so sharp. I just love the weight and the feel of it. It just makes cooking so much fun. And like all Kamikoto knives, it's made from authentic Japanese steel.
To become a great warrior, you must learn to strike like a snake.
Yes, Sensei.
Now attack! Here! Again! Here! Again! Here! Here! Here!
Okay, now what, Sensei?
Your training is complete for today.
Now, Kamikoto is running a massive sale right now and is offering Project Atticus viewers an extra $50 off any purchase. So head on over to kamikoto.com/Atticus and use promo code Atticus to get your hands on these awesome knives. And a special thanks to Kamikoto for sponsoring this video. All right, well, it is night 2, around 4 a.m., and we are slowly sailing along. It is really muggy out here though, so I had a hard time sleeping on my off watch. So we've been taking a lot of showers today just to stay cool. I'm not gonna lie, my pants have come off a couple of times because my belly's getting bigger anyways. All my clothes are kind of tight, and so I've just been walking around like a toddler without pants. It is so exciting to be back in Mallorca. I'm in such a good mood. I just had a little nap, came up on deck, and I'm just so impressed by these beautiful mountains and the crystal clear water. It's just this blue, blue, blue that I remember it. Part of me thought, well, maybe Mallorca wasn't as pretty as I thought it was. Maybe my memories of Mallorca are just steeped in adrenaline and oxytocin and just so much love and adventure. But I'm really pumped to see Mallorca in a new way from our little sailboat. I love it, so pretty.
Man, but it's like behind every beautiful cliff and rock, there's this amazing cove with like 10 boats in it. So when we got to Mallorca the first time, we worked a lot, but then we took, I think it was like a week off. We stayed in the town of Sóller, which is where we're gonna try to anchor next. And I remember we rented a motorcycle and drove this road to Dea, which is right here. And just as a dude that hadn't really gotten to travel much at that point until I started working on yachts, this to me was the most exotic, amazing place imaginable.
Plus you had a hottie on the back of your bike.
And I had a hottie. We had just started dating. Like, that's one of the most important memories I have in my life. But like, with you in particular, it's like such a core part of our story.
Yeah.
And it's crazy it happened right here.
Wow, there are a lot of boats in this tiny little anchorage. It's so funny because 10 years ago when Jordan and I came here on a date, he had just told me about his dream to live full-time on a sailboat and see the world. And at that point, I had no idea I'd be coming along on this journey with him. But I do remember walking along the pier and just looking out at all these boats. I just didn't understand sailboats back then, and I see it in a completely different perspective now.
Well, we actually found a spot that I'm pretty darn happy with. So anchor's down, we power set it, pulled against it with the engine, and it held really well. That's always a tough thing about crowded anchorages, is you find a good spot where there's no boats there, but a lot of times there's a reason that there's no boats there. There's really bad holding there, there's like a giant rock or a cable or something. So I'm hoping that's not the case for us right now, because it looked like a big gaping open spot. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, that feels so good. Come here, baby. Swim, baby, swim. Good boy. What do you think, buddy, huh? Does that feel good? I think he's like, yeah, but I'm also terrified because we're all gonna die.
Ready? Go get it. And he's going to the boat. Well, this is the life, buddy.
Yep, not too shabby.
Oh, so cut it out, man. Either come in with us or stop whining. How's baby liking it?
Baby's kicking a little bit. Just crazy to think in 3 months we're gonna have a whole nother part of our lives.
We're gonna have a whole nother thing to cry all the time. Yeah, it's so funny though, because like I can remember when you and I came here first and walked this waterfront. It was pretty neat to like, we're about to have a baby and we're coming back to the place where we first started really falling in love with each other. Man, so it's funny that when we first got here a couple hours ago, since then there's been like at least 7 or 8 more boats anchored in this anchorage. And there's still boats coming in.
I feel like if you're chartering a boat, you kind of treat it like a car. You can park it as close to another boat as you want. You can drive it pretty close quarters to other boats. We are so much more cautious than a lot of these charter boats. But look at this guy.
What is he doing? Well, at least he's not gonna drop it right there. All right, well, so far so good. No one has anchored in front of us. There's a catamaran on the prowl. There's still time. I feel like we are probably coming across very curmudgeonly right now, you know, like, you shouldn't be having so much fun. This is serious. That's the thing about a situation like this, is it's totally fine. 95% of the time, this is not a problem at all. And then one day a squall comes through in like a giant thunderstorm and it just shakes this anchorage and people are dragging all over the place and banging into each other. But when it's nice and calm out like this, it's hard to imagine that being a possibility. For as crowded as this anchorage is, there's only one boat that's a problem for us, and they're so close. I feel weird telling them they need to move, because it seems like that's just what people do here. Until I get how things work here, you know, yeah. I don't want to impose my Caribbean values, you know what I mean? But, I mean, the close boats aside, what a beautiful anchorage, man.
All right, well, we are a couple of weeks away from arriving in Malta.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We got a lot of water to sail over.
And we're making our way to Malta because it was one of the countries in the Schengen region that we could actually secure a digital nomad residency visa. And up until now, everything has gone more or less smoothly. There has been one minor hiccup, which Jordan will explain.
Yeah, it's the proof of accommodation. They want you to have like a place that you're going to be living the entire time that you're there. We were hoping it could be a marina and that we could just get a contract signed that we'll be staying at a marina for 6 months and they could issue us a 6-month visa, but they're not accepting marinas for proof of accommodation. So we're going to try to give them a call and see if we can reverse that. If this falls through, we have no plan B right now, like zero plan B. Baby's nervous.
Baby's like, come on guys, I need a place to be birthed.
Thank you for calling the Malta Residency Visa Agency. Our offices are currently closed. Our business hours are from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday to Friday.
This is definitely within that time. It's 1 p.m. on a Thursday. Well, let's just try again in an hour. Don't think it's gonna happen today.
Dang it, I think it's holiday or something.
Today is, what, September 8th? Yep, Victory Day.
Are you kidding me?
Today is
the day we call
Victory Day.
Okay. All right, well, let's call tomorrow. Well, you're in Soya right now, and I just dropped my clothes off at a laundromat. We've got about an hour and 30 minutes to kill. So, Oso and I are going on a little expedition up this mountain. Whew, so this is a pretty steep uphill climb. Feels good, though, to be back on a trail and just walking in nature. And it makes sense why Jordan and I had this really intense connection when we first started falling in love here. And I think it's because we were both super interested in the same things, which were being outdoors, in nature, swimming, hiking, climbing, and culture. Mallorca has all of that.
Oh, well, another stressful freaking night in this anchorage. So the dude that was close to us last night left today, which I was thrilled about. And then this guy rolled in and dropped the hook right freaking next to us. Yeah, I just don't know how people live this way. Because there's so little wind that I'm sure we don't have our chains pulled all the way taut yet, you know? And so if his chain gets caught up on something and ours doesn't, we're gonna impact him tonight. You know, and there's enough swell coming into the anchorage where we're rolling. So if we do come close to each other and one of us rolls, like, we could really do damage to each other. We haven't stayed this close. We've been getting gradually closer to them. Hey, excuse me. Hi. You know what? Every now and then we get really, really close. Could you guys back down on your chain a little bit? Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
I can't believe it. They were so close, Jordan. Can you believe it?
It's funny how good of a job he does at cheering me up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, good boy. Well, I did not sleep very well last night. After we asked that boat to pull against their anchor with their engine, that did give us a little more space, but then throughout the night, we drifted closer together again, and really, really stinking close. Like, I thought for sure we were gonna tap or hit each other at some point last night. So I just went over there this morning and said, hey, I'd like you guys to re-anchor. And they were like, yeah, well, maybe you were drifting more than us and this and that. I'm like, listen, you were too close to us. And what's worse is you didn't seem very concerned about it, and you didn't take a lot of steps or precautions to mitigate the issue. So I'd feel a lot better if you re-anchored further away from us. Good news is that there are not a lot of boats in the anchorage right now. Knock on wood. I don't know what the deal is. It's Friday night. This is actually really nice. I've heard from a couple people that this is the most tourists that they've seen in Mallorca in years and years.
We are going to Sóller today. Right now we're in the port of Sóller, and we're gonna grab some SIM cards for our phones if we can get on this trolley. Pregnant lady got hungry. So I got some cake.
So when we were in the States, we actually switched our phone plans over to Google Fi, but we discovered that the whole thing with Google Fi is you have to primarily use the service in the US, and then they allow you to travel out of the US for relatively short periods of time. So I think we've been out of the States for 3 months now, and they're gonna shut us down. Fingers crossed we're gonna get some data. And no luck.
Looks like they're closed for siesta, which actually is good news because they open up again in about an hour. So we can just explore for a little bit. Maybe eat some more food, and then
find some
swing
cake.
back around. I'm good with cake, now I need some salty.
Yeah.
Okay, we've ordered my favorite dish, gambas al ajillo, shrimp and garlic sauce.
What do we got here, bud?
We have a ginormous lamb shank. We're gonna split it, but I mean, it's like the size of my arm. Wow.
Hell yeah. That's the face I like to see, buddy.
Good. All right, it looks open this time.
All right. Okay, I think we're all set. It's amazing how easy that is compared to when you're in the States and you have to do a contract.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a nightmare, especially if you're not going to be there that long. Here, you go into a store that sells candy, you know, and soda, and you can make it work within 15 minutes. Well, good morning. It's 4 in the morning. I was really hoping to just sleep through the night and to catch up on some sleep tonight, and it's not happening. We got this swell coming into the anchorage and hitting this beam on, and so we're just rocking and rolling, man. And so are the other boats in the anchorage. Most of the time, the motion is not that bad, so it's actually hard to get footage of it. And then every 5 minutes, you just get hit at just the right timing, so you get pushed over, and then hard over, and then hard over, and it's just like, what's happening? But I did sleep some, to be honest. Like, I actually got more sleep tonight, I think, than last night. I think we're gonna need to get out of this anchorage. We're just having bad luck here. Where are we going, bud?
We are going to an anchorage called Sa Calabra, which is one of the most beautiful anchorages in Mallorca, and we actually went there about 10 years ago. So I'm really excited to see it with new eyes from the water perspective.
I'm bummed to say goodbye to such a beautiful anchorage in a way, but not really. I'm ready to go.